Hello again, math students. Today we're going to put together all of the transformation stuff that we've worked on, which we've already done. We've already practiced all of the translations, reflections, rotations, and dilations. But now we're going to be doing multiple transformations to one shape. So we'll be getting more than one new image from these. You don't have these problems in your note packet. However, if you want to use some of the graphs at the back of your worksheet packet to try some of these, you certainly can, or you can just kind of follow along with this. In this shape that's already graphed, I've got triangle ALT, and I've got the original, the pre-image is already here. It says that I'm on the wrong slide. Let's do this one first. Same triangle, ALT. But I want to use this rule. And I'm hoping that you recognize that that's translation notation. That means I'm going to be moving my shape 2 to the right and down 1, right? Adding 2 to this x, that means I'm going to move 2 to the right. This means I'm going to move down 1. Usually for translations, I graph and then I get my ordered pairs. However, if you want to do the math on this, if you want to add 2 to the x number, it's a -5 plus 2, well, that's going to be -3. And then -1 minus 1, well, that's going to be -2. You can do that. You still have to graph it anyway. But each of these points is just going to move 2 to the right and down 1. So I would take my point A right here and go 1, 2 to the right, down 1. It looks kind of weird because A prime is now right where the point T was before. It's okay. Then L is at -3, -2. We've got these reversed here. -3, -2 is actually T. And this one is going to be L. Sorry about that. So point T is at -3, -2. So I would move 2 to the right and down 1. Right here is T prime. L prime is going to go 2 to the right, down 1. There it is. Now, when I graph this, you should be able to see that this looks like it's congruent to the original shape. It just moved. So I've got A prime is in the right place. L prime is going to be at -1. Do I have these labeled correctly now? -1, 1. And then, do I have it labeled correctly? No, I don't. Well, yeah, I do. Okay. And then T prime, I'm so sorry, is at -1, -3. Okay, now I'm going to take that new shape. That's my image, and now I'm going to do something new to that. I'm going to reflect it over the y-axis. So not the original shape. I'm going to take my new shape, and I'm going to reflect it over this y-axis, which really means like if I would fold my paper on that axis, I should be able to get that same image on the other side. It doesn't really matter what order you do this in. So L prime is right here. It's 1 unit to the left, so I'm going to go 1 unit to the right. And now it's going to be a double prime because it's the second image. A is 3 units to the left, so I'm going to go 3 units to the right. Here's my A double prime. And T is 1 unit to the left, move it 1 unit to the right. T double prime. There it is. That shape also congruent to the red shape that I've got there, my first image, and it's congruent to my pre-image. I need to get the ordered pairs for this. Remember, the ordered pairs, when I reflect over the y-axis, I'm moving sideways, so the x number is going to change. So instead of being at -3, -2, it'll be a +3, -2. L prime, instead of being at -1, 1, it's going to be at +1, 1. And T prime is going to be at +1, -3. Okay, we have the same image, or the same pre-image here, but also the same issue because L, I think I fixed it on this one. L is at -3, -2, T is at -3, +2. Okay, I want to rotate this 90 degrees clockwise. When I do that, 90 degrees clockwise, we have a rule for that. The rule is change the sign of the X and then change the order. If you want to use the rule and write down the ordered pairs first and then graph, you can. Or if you like that paper turning kind of an option, I can do this. So that's what it's going to look like when I turn my paper 90 degrees clockwise. So I could just regraph these. So A prime now is going to be at negative 1, 5 is what it looks like. So negative 1, 5, A prime. L prime is at negative 2, 3. And T prime is going to be at 2, 3. Congruent to my first shape. I'm going to move this so it's out of the way. It's probably going to move my slide a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I have to write down those ordered pairs. Again, the rule is change this sign and then change the order. So A is going to be at negative 1, positive 5. T is going to be at, I guess I should do L next, is going to be, I'm going to change this sign, and then I'm going to change the order. So it's going to be at negative 2, 3, and that's what L looks like, L prime. And T prime, change this sign, so it's a positive 3, and then change the order. So it'll be at 2, 3, and that's where it is. Now I want to take that image, those primes, and I want to translate. Again, we've got translation notation. This is saying I'm going to move 2 to the right. This is saying I'm going to move down 4. So you can either do the math with those numbers that we just got, or I can just take each point, move 2 to the right, down 4. So from my point A prime right here, 2 to the right, down 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here is my A double prime. L, 2 to the right, down 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to put points all over here because I think it'll get too confusing. And T, 2 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4 down. There we go. Those ordered pairs, point A is now going to be at 1, 1. Notice we would add 2 to the X, and negative 1 plus 2 would give me positive 1. And I'm going to subtract 4 from the Y. 5 minus 4 is 1. L double prime is going to be at 0, negative 1. And T double prime is going to be at 4, negative 1. Here we go, we've got a dilation now. So we're changing the size. The scale factor is 0.5, less than 1. That means it's going to be a reduction. It's getting smaller. You could also think about it as a half, and if you don't like that, 0.5. So we're going to dilate each of those points with a scale factor of 1/2, and then we're going to reflect it. So let's start with our 1/2. I would just do half of all these numbers. Notice that we picked all nice numbers. Here's the thing, though, with A, it's at 0, 0. If I multiply those numbers by a half or by anything, I'm going to stick with 0 and 0. For the R, when I take half of each of those numbers, now it's going to be 1 and 1. And C is going to be at negative 2, 1. So when I graph that, A prime is going to be at 0, 0. So A prime is in the same place. And then R prime is going to be at 1, 1. And C prime is going to be at negative 2, 1. Okay. Remember my rule about if you draw a line from the origin through the corresponding points, they line up. Well, these points happen to be right on those lines that were already drawn. So that worked out well. Now, I want to take that shape and I want to reflect it over the y-axis. So this is over the y-axis again. That's this one right here. All right, when I reflect the A, it's on the axis. It's not moving. That's staying at 0, 0. So my A double prime, and I'm sorry, my A prime and my A double prime all in the same place. R double prime, right now R prime is 1 unit to the right, so I'm going to go 1 unit to the left. Here's R double prime. This one's getting kind of messy because it's so much overlapping. So that's going to be at negative 1, 1. C double prime is 2 to the left, or sorry, C prime is 2 to the left, so double prime is going to be 2 to the right. So here is my new shape. Way confusing with all of that stuff overlapping. But remember what our rule is for the y-axis reflection. I'm going to change the signs of the x's. So everything in this column should change signs. 0 doesn't have a sign, so it doesn't have to change. But the 1 changed to a -1, the -2 changed to a +2. Okay. For this last one, and I don't have any problems for the worksheet like this, but I want you to see if you can figure out how to get my original image at ABC to my double prime image. That means that there's two things that had to happen. I want you to notice, first of all, that AB is at the top, and over here, it's on the right. So there's clearly going to have to be a rotation. And if I would rotate this, it would bring it over here 90 degrees clockwise. That would bring it into the first quadrant. And then I would have to slide it down. So that's going to be a translation. However, I do want you to notice, since the first image, the pre-image, and the last one are the same size and shape, they are congruent, I don't have any dilations in here. So that's the only two things that we're going to do. We're going to rotate, and then we're going to translate. So if I do a 90-degree clockwise rotation, I didn't do the thing where I can spin my graph on here, but we can talk about these as ordered pairs. So point A right now is at -4, 5. The rule is change the sign of the x and then change the order. So this is going to be at 5, 4 right here. This is now A prime. B is at 2, -2, 5. So change that -2 to be a +2, and then change the order. So 5, 2 is going to be B prime. And then C is right now at -2, 2. Change that sign on the x, then change the order. I just get 2, 2. So it's going to be right here, C prime. There is my first image. Okay, so right there we have that 90-degree clockwise rotation. And now this translation, I just have to figure out how far I'm translating. Let's take point C. I'm going to move point C prime down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just moving straight down 5. So I'm going to translate 5 units down, which would subtract 5 from each of the y's because it's moving up and down. Okay. Your worksheet that's in your packet today has 6 problems on it. Today, we're only asking you to do numbers 1, 2, and 3 because these transformations take longer. And in fact, if you'd like to stay with the video right now, I'm going to do number 1 with you. So really all you'll have left to do is just numbers 2 and 3 when we're all done here. So I've got triangle SUM. I want to reflect it across the y-axis and then translate it. Okay, so my original shape, S is at -2, 5. And if I graph too quickly or whatever, feel free to pause it and get yours graphed. U is at -3, 3. And then M is at -2, 3. So right here is my original triangle. Okay, I want to reflect it across the y-axis. So that is right here, y-axis. We did a whole bunch of stuff today with the y-axis, not with the x-axis. It's just going to flip to the other side, right? So the S is 2 units to the left, so I go 2 units to the right. Here's my S prime. That point is at 2, 5. Remember, the rule is just change the sign of the x. U is 3 units to the left, so 3 units to the right. So it's going to be at 3, 3. And then M is 2 units to the left, so 2 units to the right. Here's my M prime. That is at 2, 3. Okay. Then we want to translate the x -3, y -5. This is saying I'm going to move 3 to the left, and then this says I'm going to move down 5. So I'm just going to do 1 point at a time. 3 to the left, down 5. So for point S prime, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Right there is S double prime. Oh, here, let me read my double prime. Please do the other points. I'm going to just do those also. So for u, I'm going to go 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then m double prime. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would need those ordered pairs. So S double prime is going to be at -1, 0. U double prime is at 0, -2. And M double prime is going to be at -1, -2. And again, you could have done that just by subtracting 3 from the x, so 2 minus 3 gives me my -1, and then subtracting 5 from the y, which is what gives me my 0. So please try the other two problems, numbers 2 and 3. And again, tomorrow we're going to spend more time on this same topic, so you'll have more time to practice this. But if you need any help, let me know.